Hey everyone! Welcome to the very first episode of Start Speaking English the Right Way. I'm Zero, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Emma. How's it going, Emma?
Hey, Zero! I'm so pumped to kick off this podcast with all of you today. We're diving into how to start speaking English from day one, the right way. So, if you're ready to make some real progress, stay tuned.
Exactly. Now, many people think that learning English is all about memorizing rules and vocabulary lists, but that's only part of the picture. Today, we're going to focus on how you can actually start speaking English in a way that feels natural and gets you results. Emma, what's the first thing someone should know when they're starting this journey?
Well, Zero, I think the most important thing to understand is that speaking is a skill. And like any skill, it takes time and practice to get better at it. So don't expect to be perfect on day one. The key is to just start speaking, even if it feels a bit uncomfortable at first. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become.
I totally agree. One mistake a lot of learners make is thinking they need perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary to speak confidently. But really, what matters most is being able to communicate your ideas. If you can get your point across, that's what counts.
Exactly. And speaking of communication, here's something important: listening. To speak well, you need to listen well too. I always recommend surrounding yourself with English every day, whether that's listening to podcasts, watching TV shows, or just listening to music in English. It gets your brain used to how the language sounds in real-life situations.
Good point. And if someone's feeling nervous about speaking for the first time, like they're scared of making mistakes, what would you say to them, Emma?
The fear of mistakes. We've all been there, right? But honestly, making mistakes is part of the learning process. You won't know where to improve unless you make them and get feedback. I always tell my students, the more mistakes you make, the faster you'll learn. So don't be afraid of messing up. It's all part of growing.
Exactly. And even native speakers make mistakes all the time. But the key is to keep speaking and keep trying. The more you speak, the more comfortable you'll become. But let's talk about confidence for a second. For someone just starting out, how can they build their speaking confidence, Emma?
A great way to start building confidence is through small talk. Small talk is everywhere. At the store, with friends, even on public transport. Practice simple, everyday questions like, "How are you?" or "What's your favorite movie?" You don't need a long conversation, just enough to get used to speaking and listening.
I love that. And to add to that, I think it's super helpful to practice common phrases. Instead of trying to memorize entire conversations, just focus on the phrases you'll use every day. For example, "Where is the bathroom?" or "Can I help you with something?" They're simple but really useful.
Exactly. And speaking of practice, consistency is key. Even if you can only spare 10 or 15 minutes a day, make it a habit to speak or practice listening every single day. Over time, those small efforts will add up, and you'll see huge improvements.
That's right. And don't forget, small, consistent actions lead to big changes. So Emma, let's give our listeners a few actionable tips to help them start speaking English today. What's one thing they can do right now?
I'd say start by finding someone to practice with. Even if it's just a short conversation with a friend, or you can find a language exchange partner online, just start speaking. Don't worry about mistakes. Just focus on practicing and getting more comfortable.
Great tip. And for me, I'd say listen, listen, listen. Immerse yourself in English. Watch shows, listen to music, and just let the language become part of your daily routine. The more you hear, the easier it will be to speak naturally.
I love that. So, to wrap up today's episode, remember, start speaking, embrace mistakes, be consistent, and build your confidence. The journey might seem long, but each day you practice, you're one step closer to your goal.
Absolutely. And thanks so much for joining us for our very first episode. We hope you found these tips helpful, and we'll be back with more advice to keep you on track with your English learning journey.
Yes, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear how you're doing with your English.
All right, that's it for today. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and we'll talk to you in the next episode.